Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a 4-year peach tree follow-up that we did last year. And we're just going to go around and look at some of the different cuts we made and the way that the tree decided to develop. One of the things I thought would be interesting for you guys to look at is kind of a comparison of where the tree ended last year and where it is right now. So now this tree is a 5-year peach tree, and we're going to prune this one and do another video on the pruning a 5-year peach tree. But right now we're going to look at some of those areas on it that it grew as a 4-year tree. Let's come over here and look at one of our first scaffoldings we did. And you can see that compared to last year, everything is a little bit bigger all the way around. And the tree looks really healthy. The stump is getting bigger. And let's come up to this here now. We have a Y. And here's one of the cuts we made. Okay, so here we are up here. So an easy decision would be to cut out this piece of deadwood up here in the middle. But let's decide which ones are going to do our Y shape before we cut anything. But I think I'm going to go with this one right here. And I'm going to head it off up here at about 18 inches. And I'm going to cut that dead piece out of the middle. And I'm going to keep this one out here too. And I'm going to head that one off. And that way we're leaving 3. And they're all spread out pretty good. You see how they have some nice spacing so they can do their thing? And that's what we need. So we got this one, and that one, and that one. And this one could stay too if we want peaches. We could get some production off that little guy. So you can see right here. And you can see how the size that branch was last year. It was about the size of this one right below. You can see how much bigger this branch got after that cut. And it's almost twice the size. And I think that we ended up keeping this one, and we kept this one, and we kept this one. We kept 3 on this when we pruned it as a 4-year tree. And if you look out here, you can see a little bit of dieback where we headed that branch off at that time. And from there, it sprouted out these new branches here and here and here and all the way down. And then over on this one, it did the same thing. We cut that there. There's a little bit of dieback, maybe a 1/2 inch. And it has all these brand new limbs coming out here. And then where the tree really put some energy was into the center one here, looks like. And you can see where we trimmed that. It was just slightly bigger than those branches last year in when we cut it. But if you look now, it took on, it's 3 times, 4 times the size of these other branches now. So the tree clearly decided it really liked the direction of that one. And it kind of makes sense because this middle branch is not being too crowded by these other branches over on these other scaffoldings. It has the room to kind of grow big and strong in here. You can see on this big one how many branches it shot out when we pruned it right here. And they're pretty big too. Some of these are really quite large. So we have a lot to choose from when we prune it here now. And on this 5-year tree, it's starting to get kind of tall. It's kind of getting to that size of an adult tree. So we're going to kind of think about controlling the height of it this year. And we just had a question recently about that on one of our other videos where we talk about controlling the height. So we'll kind of focus on that a little bit when we do our pruning video on this 5-year tree now. But that's one thing that is going to be a little bit different. When we pruned it as a 4-year tree, we were just trying to get everything to get beefed up and get bigger and get the structure going in the right direction. But now that it's becoming bigger and it is going in the right direction, on this next round we're going to be starting to think about controlling the height, trying to maintain what we already have here a little bit. But it'll be a kind of a mixture of those two. Guys, another thing I want to show you on a 4-year tree follow-up, because this tree is just a little bit bigger all the way around, we have a few different things that are happening, and we made some pretty big structural decisions. Big decision here for the health and future of the tree. Sorry, tree. Sure glad this ain't my arm being sawed off. But you'll heal fast. These trees are a lot tougher than we are, I think. So I just wanted to show you the healing process on a kind of a big limb that we cut out of the center of these two scaffoldings last year, and kind of show you that you see how it's starting to wrap over the stub, and that's good. It's making good progress. If we would have left the stub out to here and not cut it very clean, it would have many years trying to close that up, and it could even cause canker and infection later on. And if we look over at another one right next to it, we did kind of a big cut right here, a branch that was coming straight up, and it was almost as big as a quarter. But you can see the progress. We did a nice clean cut, and now the tree is wrapping over on all sides, and probably by next year that thing will be totally closed up. So right here is another interesting area on the 4-year tree for follow-up. We made kind of a large cut there, about another 1-inch diameter branch. So looking at scaffolding number 3 over here, I should have a Y coming off this thing, but instead I got 3 of them. So the first thing I'm going to do, and out of the 3, these 2 are coming out to form the bowl. This one's kind of just poking straight up into the middle of the tree. And remember, we're trying to kind of open up the center of the tree for sunlight, for air, for all those wonderful things that make the tree more healthy and the peaches taste better. So we're going to take out this guy right here. And he saw him as close as I can so that he can heal fast. And maybe I'll just go straight through on there. Well, I'm sure glad that's not my finger right there getting sawed. And you can see the trees healing over it nicely too. But because of that big cut, the tree felt a loss there. And we showed you some of the other cuts over here too, but this one has a bunch of big shoots shooting out next to this cut. So the tree thinks that it wants to have some branches there. And maybe it feels like this area of the tree is getting maybe too much sun, and maybe it's getting a little bit sunburned. It is south facing, and it does get probably a lot of sunlight. So the tree probably feels like, oh, I need extra shade in here, don't I? We'll probably end up cutting these out because the tree has also grown a lot up top here, where I think it will end up shading this area out a lot better now because it's bigger and taller. And I don't think the tree is going to need these to help protect itself as it thinks it does. So we'll probably end up cutting those out again later. So right here is another interesting area on the 4-year tree. We kept kind of this one that's a little bit upright. I guess we didn't have many good branches coming out into this direction, so we tried to keep this one and work with it. So right here you can see that this is trying to form a ball up in here, independent of this one and this one over here, so it has space to do it. So we're going to try to help it do that, and I think that this one maybe will serve us for a while as these other ones continue to grow and kind of try to take over the area, and this one starts feeling a little more central. And because it needs space, it probably will start trying to work its way, and the trees do move. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, where the trees come alive, but they slowly do move. They try to reach for sunlight. And so this branch here probably will go away eventually. They'll probably try to start bending its way into the middle of the tree, and we don't want to shade out the northern side of the tree by having this enter the middle. Temporarily, we don't mind having this bowl right here until these other areas can kind of fill into these areas and grow out maybe a couple years from now. I just want to say about the peach trees that can sometimes be misunderstood a little bit is that there's not always a perfect formula for every tree. Every tree is a little bit different. Things we're trying to teach in our peach videos is not to worry too much about exact rules, because we know that a lot of the homeowners or people who have peach trees in their yard or grandpa's yard or whatever, they're not doing hundreds and thousands of trees where they just need to mass produce the tree. And we really want you to know basically what the tree is thinking a little bit, what we should be thinking about, and that way you can kind of customize your tree to whatever your desires are to try to get out of your tree, whether it be fruit or it just to look good, or maybe you want to have it look like a commercial tree, how they look on the farm, whatever, We appreciate you watching the video with us. Now, if you have any questions or comments or stuff you would like us to film, you'd like to see, please let us know. We'd love to do a video up of any questions you have. All right, you guys, we'll see you on the next video.